What's up, everybody? And today I'm actually here with a special review. And it's actually, I want to talk about this show because I actually went to this show last Friday. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Windy City Riot, Chicago, Illinois, Wintrust Arena. And man, I got a lot to say about this show. And this trip, I was there live in attendance. I had a great time. Obviously, C2E2, basically the Chicago Comic Con, going on at the same time over there right by the arena. So, obviously there's going to be a lot of New Japan and AEW people there the next day taking autographs and whatnot. But I do got a lot to say about this show. Right off the bat, I didn't really arrive to the building till probably about 7 o'clock. It's obviously the closest arena I actually live to. It only takes me like 15-20 minutes. So I kind of got there once the show was actually starting. I didn't see the pre-show match, so by the time I kind of got in the building, they were still kind of going through the matches for the rest of the night. But I think it was like Zane J and CJ Tino. I don't really know who those guys are. I just heard Zane J won. I think he's from the LA dojo, if I'm not mistaken. I guess he said he was going to be going to the dojo in Japan, for what I know. So that's all I can really say about that. I don't really know the attendance of how many people were in the building. I thought it was a lot of people there. It looked almost like a sellout. I don't think the upper decks were, had people up there, but like the lower bowl and like the floor seats and whatnot, I think it was mostly sold out. I was in the lower bowl, so I had pretty good seats. I could see it really well. I was in kind of like the hard cam section of it, so I had some good seats. I really did. To get really good seats to see everything that was going on the show. From to what I saw, I see they had Veda Scott and Walker Stewart on commentary. I guess they couldn't get Chris Charlton to be there in America this time. I think I've been almost every Windy City Riot show at this point. I think this is like the third one. I was there last year in attendance when Moxley won the World Championship. So I was back again tonight because, like I said, obviously this is Hiroshi Tanahashi's final match in America. So let's kind of get right into it right now. So when I got to the building, it was Filthy Tom Lawler versus TJP. I actually thought this was a really good opener to kick off the show, so definitely enjoyed it. I don't really have a lot to say about it. TJP ended up getting the Mamba Splash onto Tom Lawler to get the win right there. So I think it went like about 11, 12 minutes. So good opener, I'll give it that. Next was a number one contender spot to see who was going to face Mercedes Moné for the New Japan Strong Championship. It's supposed to be a resurgence in Ontario, Canada. So it was Mina Shirakawa versus AZM. Obviously, I expected Mina Shirakawa to be over for obvious reasons because, we want Mina, as everybody would say. So she was definitely over with the crowd. AZM was also over, too. A very good match, I should say, too, other than the finish. But I did enjoy the match until like both women started brawling with each other outside, and they kept pulling each other to the outside of the ring, so nobody never got in. So it was a double count out, and it ended up being a draw. Then, so if you know what I know, obviously it's going to be a triple threat match at Resurgence. Looks like there's triple threat matches everywhere in wrestling right now, which is just no matter what company, it's a triple threat match going on for some reason. But like I said, the crowd wasn't really happy with the decision of both Shirakawa and AZM getting a double count out. Both women tried to brawl with each other after that, but security and referees basically just end up taking them to the back then. So come on, you already know it's going to be a triple threat match coming up. Next, the New Japan Strong tag team titles are on the line. The International Jet Setters, Kushida and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight obviously signed with AEW right now, but hey, Kevin Knight's still with NJPW, so like I said, the Jet Setters still go on. Kushida very over from where I was at, so Kushida was definitely over. They went against the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jorel Nelson. TJP ended up coming out with some Dunkin' Donuts and some water sitting by. I guess scouting who's going to win those tag titles. Obviously, the United Empire has got a lot of gold right now. They just won the IWGP tag titles, with Jeff Cobb and Kalman Newman and Great O'Connor being the New Japan TV champion right now. So I guess TJP was scouting himself for some gold. I really did enjoy this match. Kevin Knight, man, I'm telling you, this dude is great to watch. I've seen Kevin Knight wrestle before live. I saw him in TNA wrestle live before. So watching him here again, in New Japan, one move I like was Kushida had. I think it was either Jorel Nelson, like the electric chair position, and just Kevin Knight just doing the big drop kick. Like I said, the man's got hops. Okay, this dude can freaking fly. There's a reason why I remember Matthew Redwall in TNA calling him Rocket Boots. So very good reason why to call him Rocket Boots here. But kind of near the end, Royce Isaacs hit a low blow on Kushida and then knocking Kevin Knight out the ring. The West Coast record, I think he had a German suplex, and the West Coast record crew did their finisher onto Kushida and still retain the New Japan Strong Championships. Basically, have a stare down with Kushida right after then. So I'm sure, not Kushida, I mean TJP right after. So I'm sure him and Francisco Akira are going to be going for those Strong Championships pretty soon. Next, in my opinion, I actually thought this was the best match out of the night. I think this was the crowd was the hottest throughout the whole night. Gabe Kidd versus Tomohiro Ishii in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the New Japan Strong Championship. Now, of course, they ate up a lot of time by chopping each other several times, which I think almost went 7 minutes, it looked like, which obviously both of these men's chests were going to be red. They ended up brawling into the crowd then, throwing each other in chairs. Kidd just crashing through multiple counter chairs onto the outside. I know he ended up hitting a big superplex onto Ishii, and then, kind of almost like pissing on him and everything, taking a crap like a dog and whatnot. Kidd going, he ended up getting a big power bomb onto Ishii, getting a 1-0 lead, which was about 22 minutes into this match. Like I said, it's a lot of brawl and a lot of suplexes going on, so Kidd didn't even get the first ball to that point then, until Ishii ended up hitting a big cross arm breaker, because he ended up dodging an O-knee from Kidd, and he was holding Kidd's arm as long as he could until Kidd tapped out. So by the time we only got 2 minutes left into this match, and both men are still going back, brawling with each other. I don't really like the whole, and I know Kidd ended up doing this. He ended up in a big pile driver on the Ishii, which was a 1 count, which I did kind of roll my eyes about that, because, I'm sorry, you're hitting a big pile driver, and then, 1 count. I'm like, okay, now. But Kidd ended up rolling outside to the ring, and it ended up being another draw, which I'm sure the crowd, like I said, we were pretty pissed off about that. Like, great, we just saw a draw earlier in the night. Do we need to see another draw? But the ref ended up having this match, sudden death rules. Then both men just start damn near hitting finishers on each other. Then when it comes to brain busters and trying to go for the O-knee and all that, and pile drivers, once again still kicking out. But Ishii was able to get the better hand of a Kidd and end up in a big vertical suplex brain buster. And now Ishii is now the new New Japan Strong champion. Like I said, I don't know. I feel like it's there when you're there live than watching it on the internet. To me, it didn't even feel like 30 minutes, to be honest. I kind of wanted some points in time how long the match was going, but given how both men just beat the hell out of each other throughout this whole match, it was just definitely enjoyable to the crowd that they gave a standing ovation to Ishii after this. So, Ishii becoming the new New Japan Strong champion. Good for him. I know he hasn't been getting a lot of, wins over, just the main New Japan in Japan right now. So, being a strong champion in America, let's see how that goes, because we do see Ishii a lot in America right now. So, good for him. Next, I felt this was the cool down match. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Tetsuya Naito and Titan versus Rocky Romero and El Phantasmo. I know LIJ just lost the IWGP Tag titles last week. Naito and Hiromu. Like I said, Naito taking his time getting to the ring. I know it's a lot of banter, kind of back and forth with him and ELP, just kind of stealing each other's taunts and whatnot. I know Rocky and ELP had problems throughout the whole match, kind of damn near arguing with each other and stuff. But it's not much I got to say. I think Titan is really good in the ring. I definitely enjoy him. Naito, I gotta say, moved better than what I usually been seeing from Naito lately. I know people have been talking about, especially his knees and, having a double vision, because don't get me going back to Wrestle Kingdom. I think I talked about this in Wrestle Kingdom about his vision. I think he had another eye surgery just so he could do the match with him and Hiromu, but that was mostly kind of relying on the story of all that. But I thought Naito moved better than usual, as I've been seeing from him. Well, hell, he moved great in that tag match last week for the titles. Titan, Naito ended up hitting a big Destino onto Rocky, and then Titan hit a big double stop on the chest of Rocky Romero then after that, and getting the win. Obviously, LIJ celebrated, and then they tried to get some dude that was dressed like Liger to jump the barricade. Naito just toying with him and whatnot, so I thought it was pretty funny. So it was a bit of a cool down match. Next was David Finlay versus Zack Sabre Jr. I don't really have much to say about this match other than being a rematch from the New Japan Cup, which I thought the New Japan Cup match was better. This was still a really good match, though, but it just kind of happened to happen, and, I figured Zack was going to get his win back, because I know he ended up dodging the overkill. Wow, it's got an alarm going off for some reason. Alexa, stop the alarm. Wow, it's always crazy when you got alarms going off. But yeah, other than, Alexa with the alarms going off, like I said, Zack Sabre Jr. ends up getting the win right here. Hits the Zack driver on David Finlay and whatnot. So, like I said, he got some payback after, the New Japan Cup match from a few weeks ago and stuff. But moving on, we did have the IWGP World Championship on the line. Hiroki Goto versus Shota Umino Shooter. Now, obviously, and for what I've kind of been watching through New Japan for the few months right now, I was really shocked that Hiroki Goto actually won the IWGP World title, beating Zack Sabre Jr. At the new beginning and whatnot. And Shooter, they've been really kind of changing the gimmick up. I feel like they've been changing a lot. Before, people were already calling him a Tanahashi clone and everything, but now he's like this disgraced person and whatnot because he shaved his head, which is, some of his hair is already kind of growing back as it is already, but Shooter, they've been really kind of changing it up here and there, and I feel like any day now he's going to turn heel. Goto, I've got to say, like, he has been over in Japan, mostly kind of been making him the family man and fighting his way back up to the top all the way from Bishamon, tagging with, Yoshihashi and whatnot to now becoming a world champion and everything. They've really been doing a good job of that, even with the stuff with Finley that was going on because he finally got the payback on him. And, he's been doing it for his kids most of the time, what we've seen out of Goto. So I kind of wonder, given how it's been over in Japan, I wonder how over Goto is in America, basically, to see him as the IWGP World Champion, which, I thought the match was really good. I think the crowd was very receptive to it. What I seen, I feel like it took some time for them to get into it, but I feel like later on they were kind of winning them over. The match went about 20 minutes anyways, but like I said, I know they had a lot of near falls and whatnot. Shooter trying to get the ignition on him, but Goto was able to get the GTR for the win. Right after Goto did get on the mic, though, he did say he doesn't speak English very well, but, he said he loved everybody as the fans chanted, "We love you," several times. And basically, in translation, he says the G means for Goto. So, like I said, I enjoyed the match. I don't think anybody believes Shooter was ever going to win. I kind of look at Shooter's responses. I feel like he was more over last year in America when he was going against Jack Perry, but I don't know. I feel like he hasn't really been over in Japan like that. In America, I guess he's somewhat still over given his association with Moxley and whatnot, but I don't think anybody really believes Shooter was going to win the world title here. Okay, I never believed that. I don't think it was going to be like last year's Windy City Riot when Moxley just wins the title from out of nowhere against Naito. So I didn't think it was going to be another one of those type of things. So yeah, Goto ended up picking up the win. In the main event, we did get Konosuke Takeshita versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. I believe this actually was for the Never Openweight Championship. But this is Hiroshi Tanahashi's final match in America. Like I said, both guys were really over, especially Tanahashi, of course. Crowd was really into this. Takeshita, like I said, him being just signed to 3 companies right now between AEW, New Japan, and DDT. If you kind of get what the story was going on, I recommend look at the video package for it. Basically, is this. Over 10 years ago, both Tanahashi and Takeshita faced each other. Basically, when Takeshita was still kind of a young boy. And Tanahashi kind of made comments talking about, every promotion doesn't need to work together like that or something he said. And kind of, this was Takeshita's big revenge story. He really wanted payback on Tanahashi. He's lost to Tanahashi 2 times in the past now. And stuff, so he really wanted his payback, and he wanted to do this like, why didn't, New Japan or Tanahashi never look out for DDT, especially given the, the pull he had and still does at the time right now. Where did he really use that pull to actually help out DDT? So, like I said, Takeshita really wanted to get his payback on Tana for just making comments saying that these promotions shouldn't work together, but now that Hiroshi Tanahashi is the president of New Japan, now we do see, him trying to unite all these promotions in Japan somewhat together now. So we kind of see it going on and stuff. But just kind of looking at this, like I said, I thought this match was actually really good. I know Tanahashi, which, from matches I've seen here and there, you can tell he's still kind of somewhat slower. I know people kind of go on about his weight and everything, but I think he really bought it out tonight. He really wanted to go out with a bang in America. Like I said, just really good stuff from both these guys. Tana even just kind of come back with those dragon screw, which was still kind of crazy, even hitting the aces high, then going for the high fly flow, which he did get the high fly flow, but excuse me, he did get the high fly flow, but it was still a big kick out then. The crowd went nuts after that. Takeshita just, and this is where he kind of gets towards the end of the match, though. But Takeshita was just knee striking the hell out of Tanahashi because, like I said, he just dodged. He took everything from Tanahashi, just from sling blades, and like I said, just I think about maybe two high fly flows and whatnot. But Takeshita just hit like several knee strikes to Tana's face, and he kicked out at one point, but he still kept getting up. He still kept getting up. He was clearly damn near defenseless. Takeshita ended up hitting like a big, like double knee strike, then basically a meteora onto the ground onto Tana, which he ended up getting a raging fire on him after that, and won the match from there. So I figured Takeshita was going to win anyways, and still retaining his Never Openweight Championship, which I guess they even said like this is the most title defenses out of the Never Openweight title, because it looks like everybody always changes his belt after one or two defenses most of the time. Somebody else ends up getting it. So he's got 5 on him right now. I didn't know he had like a stare down with ELP after that, because the faces basically came out as Tanahashi cut a promo basically saying, he loved the fans, Chicago and everything. This is his final time in the U.S., and he said he has to retire, but that's not until next year. But as president, he just looked around. He says, we have to keep New Japan strong, that the fans have to, and the roster does itself. And, like I say, he just enjoyed his time and thanked everybody, but he wanted to make sure New Japan Pro Wrestling stays strong. And, his I Shema thing as, basically signing off to the crowd as he took photos and stuff with everybody after that, because he, like I say, he just about to walked around the ringside and everything, taking pictures, selfies, and signing stuff. But, I got to say it's about Tanahashi, and I'm glad I did get to be at this show, given that it will be his last match in America and whatnot, so I'm glad to have seen it. I thought him and Takeshi had a really, really good match out there. I enjoyed it. I will say this, the only other times I've ever even seen Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestle in person was at the Forbidden Door show a few years ago at the United Center, against John Moxley for the AEW World Title, or interim title at the time, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, between here and his final match, I was like, you know what, I want to go to this show, because I'm like, okay, it's the final time I'm going to see him. And I've been to most of all the Windy City Riots anyway, so I just wanted to go in general. But like I said, this was his final match in America. I know they've been doing the retirement tour run of what they've been going on right now of multiple people he's been facing these singles matches. I think this is one of the better singles matches he's had right here throughout this run he's doing right now. So I definitely enjoyed it and stuff. But like I said, it was great to see him at least go out with a bang in America. So real cool stuff. Like, I enjoyed the show overall, and I had a nice time. And I had fun being there. It was a really fun show. Like, it was just cool going to. I think my favorite matches out the entire night was actually the Iron Man match itself between Kid and Ishii. I thought crowd was going nuts for it, and these guys beat the hell out of each other. I thought the main event was really great. Real good stuff from Tana and Takeshita. I actually enjoyed the IWGP World Title match itself too, so real good stuff from there. That's like probably most of the top matches I really enjoyed. Everything else on here, I thought the tag match was pretty good with for the tag titles. Shirakawa, AZM. Even I kind of liked the match, but I didn't like the finish. As I said, Tom Lawler and TJP had a good opener out there. LIJ, against Phantasma. It's a cool down match, but I enjoyed seeing it. ZSJ and Finley, still kind of a bit of a whatever match at the same time, but it was still good. Like I said, I enjoyed the Windy City Riot. I don't know if it was big as last year's. If you want to debate that, I feel like it was a lot more going on last year with that show. I don't know if it was more people in that, but I still thought this was great in its own right. So maybe it was better than last year's. I'm not sure, but overall, this was just a fun show, and I'm glad I went and had a good time going there. And like I said, I got to see Tanahashi wrestle one more time in America, so that was pretty damn cool to see too. So real good stuff though. Really enjoyed it. But other than that, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, HoodandKnight890. Tell me what you think about the Windy City Riot show, if you even watched it or not. Hell, maybe if you went in attendance, please tell me if you did or not. So yeah, just tell me what you thought about the show and what you enjoyed it and that, because I had a lot of fun going there on Friday night. So real good stuff. But other than that, that's all I really got to say about New Japan right now. So yeah, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Once again, I'm repeating myself again. Follow me on Twitter, HoodandKnight890, and wow, just repeat myself. And other than that, yeah, I'm out of here. So yeah, hit the notification bell and hit that like button too. So I'm out. See y'all later. Peace out.